Dhumavati Svaha. Jai Ma Kali, Jai Jai Ma. Om Dum Dum Dhumavati Svaha. Jai Ma Kali, Jai Jai Ma. Om Dum Dum Dhumavati Svaha. Jai Ma Kali, Jai Jai Ma. Hello. I really had Dhumavati come in so strongly for the WYRD collective this week. And I think we have a very important week ahead of us. If you don't know who Dhumavati is one of the Mahavidyas, which is one of the 10 goddess energies of Tantra. And she represents our hungers, our thirsts, the places where we feel poverty emotionally, poverty spiritually, poverty intellectually, poverty financially, hardship. She represents hard times and bitter tea. She's a form of that Kali energy. Very powerful imagery. I love Kali. She's both creator and destroyer. She cuts away what's false. There's an interesting story about Dhumavati, that she's said to be the first wife of Shiva. Kind of similar story as Lilith. Okay, I'm really feeling like this Lilith vibe. I'm feeling actually a lot of parallels with Dhumavati to other goddess energies. And I'll talk about that in a moment. But Dhumavati is said to have been Shiva's first wife. And she was hungry. She was hungry and she wanted Shiva to feed her. But they were in the Himalayas and there was no food for him to feed her with. So she devoured him. She devoured him. It's like kind of that praying mantis energy, you know, black widow energy too. I pick up both actually in association with that mythos, you know. And Shiva like took over her consciousness and demanded that she throw him up, you know. And she did. And when she did, you know, he cursed her ass. He cursed her as a punishment, really. And he cursed her by making her like a widow, you know, to hold that widow energy, like the forlorn, you know. I feel so many parallels with this mythos as I do with Lilith. You know, it's the same energy, you know, having that hunger, but doing what one needs to do to satisfy it. And what is the means to satisfying a hunger? Will, in our efforts to satisfy our hunger, will we find true nourishment? This is just really what wanted to come in tonight, and I want to roll with it. I want to roll with it. Because yes, I can be irreverent, but I like to play in these waters too. I like to play in these waters too. Okay. She's said to represent the cremation grounds. Ashes are sacred to her. She's also known to be associated with smoke. And that mantra that I was singing in kirtan when this first opened is said to cause her energy to be like a smoke screen around you, protecting you from all negativity, all harm. Very protective energy. She represents kind of the crone aspect of goddess. You know, the curse that Shiva laid on her was not only that she had this like widowed, exiled energy, but also that she had her beauty stripped away. That she had her beauty stripped away, that she was old, that she was haggard, you know. She's associated with crow energy. She also comes in with crows. They are sometimes seen to be drawing her chariot. Her chariot that isn't really going much anywhere. It's kind of stuck at the bardo, you know, that crossroads place. I love her energy. It gives me comfort. It gives me comfort. This energy coming in like just so strongly. About singing songs to those places that are hungry, about singing songs to those places where there's that sense of poverty, filling them, making those spaces of emptiness within full of song, full of kirtan, you know, full of music, tones, like it brings healing. It brings healing and it brings cleansing. It's kind of like when you were a baby, your mother would sing to you to comfort you, you know, your lullabies. It's like the same kind of energy because as much as she represents hard times and bitter tea, as much as she represents the ugliness in life, as much as she represents these energies, she's also known to be very compassionate. You know, you don't really develop true compassion until you've been an outcast in your life. If you know what it means to be outcasted, or if you know what it means to be exiled, so to speak, for being who you are, for being true to who you are, you know, if you know what that feels like, then you're able to have true compassion because you don't ever want another to be left alone in a space like that. That's how we develop compassion. Love throws us upon the shore, crashing against the rocks to crack us open. It's what softens us, you know. It's really actually a very beautiful energy. And that's what Dhumavati, Dhumavati, it's what Dhumavati asks us to do. Dhumavati asks us to look beyond superficial beauty to the true beauty, to the real beauty, the beauty that is more than skin deep. Ted approves. Really powerful energy coming in, but she responds to smoke, you know, she responds to smoke. And I thought, you know, since this is a weird way read, I thought I would just sort of create the space for the collective that gathers for this read to let Dhumavati hold for them what has been burdening them. Because much like Santa Muerte, there's also this like, I'm feeling this connecting piece with her energy in Santa Muerte. Much like Santa Muerte, you know, protects her children, looks after those who, you know, feed her, look after her. It's the same energy with Dhumavati. She also feels compassion for the places inside of us that are hungry, the places inside of us that feel impoverished. And she brings blessing. She brings blessing. She brings what brings true self-knowledge. She brings what delivers us to the real place of fulfillment. And she comforts. She comforts. It's a really beautiful energy. So I have some frankincense present here. And I wanted to just offer her up a little of that smoke and just give you all a moment to consider, where are the empty places inside of you? Where are you feeling like you could use some compassion? Where are you feeling like you could use some support? And just speak it. Speak it to her. Just let her witness what you've been holding. Speak it to her in your heart. And this smoke will carry those words. Carry those words through her essence to surround you with protection and to draw to you what you need, to fill those hungry places inside of you with what will give you true sustenance and the clarity and the self-knowledge to know which steps to take on your path to bring that in. Om Dum Dum Dhumavati Swaha. Jai Ma Kali, Jai Jai Ma. Om Dum Dum Dhumavati Swaha. Jai Ma Kali, Jai Jai Ma. Om Dum Dum Dhumavati Swaha. Jai Ma Kali, Jai Jai Ma. So nice. It smells so heavenly. And I even have carnelian gua sha. I'm putting in front of this as the smoke rises up for her to give the collective, the WYRD collective, some strength in cutting the cords that are necessary to be cut, and to cut the ties to our sense of control, to give ourselves over to the energy that's calling us forward right now. So I really felt like kind of doing something a little different tonight, you know? The energy was just coming forward in a different way for me. I felt like diving a little deeper. I like how the ring light is making that reflection on my mermaid picture back there. You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of Dr. Manhattan, you know, with his circle right around that third eye, Ajna, you know, Ajna chakra. You might be noticing you're having some visions coming forward. You might be noticing your psychic awareness is expanding. Some of you are starting to have some clairvoyant experiences. You're actually seeing things. You're waking up out of the dream state and you're seeing things play out before your eyes, like as if they were on a movie screen. You know, you're seeing things in your mind's eye before they actually happen in material reality, and you're noticing this happen more and more frequently. I feel like it's really coming in the form of vision, also a lot of stuff coming in through dreams, you know, and this feeling, this desire to kind of spend some time alone, to do a deep dive, not for any kind of um, emotional processing necessarily, more so just to like trip out on the ether and explore your psychic awareness. I feel like a lot of you are having Kundalini experiences. Some of you, you're experiencing your first uncoiling. You're like, whoa, what is this action going on? Kundalini, when it goes through its second uncoiling, it's often, the exit point. You really feel it in ajna. You really feel it in the third eye. So a lot of focus on this. Amethyst is coming through as a good stone to work with this week, to be supported in opening up to these higher states of consciousness and in opening up to your psychic gifts. Some of you have psychic gifts, but you've been resisting them because you're scared. Some of you need to focus a little bit more on your grounding as you move into this second sight, awareness, as your intuition picks up and you start having more expansion in this area. Ooh, it's going to be very important. Yeah, I see. Honestly, I'm just going to call it like it is. A lot of you are worried, like, am I crazy? Okay. Am I crazy? We see this, with this illness card here. I'm working with a super awesome future deck here. What do you need? Do you need to go potty? Huh? What do you need, Ted? You have something to contribute to the reading? Do you? Do you need to go outside? Yes, okay, hold on. Ted always has to do this on the readings. You see this illness card here, and there's number 8. 8 number has been front and center as sort of like this energy we're moving into. 8 is about stepping into your power. 8 is about, and it was 1833 on the clock when I said that, okay? That is like, 9, we're closing up old cycles. And as we're closing up old cycles, we're aligning with our new purpose. We're doing like a timeline hop, okay? We're aligning with our new purpose. That's always been our purpose, okay? But it's new because it requires us to sort of do a radical shift inside of ourselves, and really approach life in a different way than we have before, and also discover new aspects of ourselves we weren't even aware of, all right? And a lot of people are going to be having their mind blown. They're like opening up to a new dimension of themselves. And some of this is the awakening of psychic gifts. These things have always been with you. You've always had these abilities, but now there's like part of you that is really ready to move into the expansion of those gifts. And not just the expansion of those gifts, but to actually use them moving forward on your path. They're part of your purpose. And when you finally start to open up to the experience, sometimes it can be a little unsettling, It can be unsettling because you've never experienced this before. It's totally unknown. And it's not logical. And it really requires you to jump into your creative brain. But I see there's definitely this necessity to embrace the process, to embrace the opening of this vision, to embrace the opening of you really being rooted in your power. And trusting the process, even though at times you may think, oh my gosh, am I losing it? Am I losing my shit? I see that this is the thing you're worried about. But, that's kind of one of the things you have to overcome. Yeah, I really believe that a lot of you with this breakup card, you're worried about opening up. I, of course, chose the light that doesn't show the details of these cards very well. But this is the light I wanted to choose. Oh, here we go. There we go. You can kind of see it there. The breakup. I feel like you're worried that you'll have a mental breakdown. I do think there's a fear around this. Some of you have experimented with psychedelics before as a way to open your consciousness. Maybe some of you had your first kind of clairvoyant awakening, through psychotropic drugs, maybe you did some shrooms, or you did some acid or something like that, at some point, and it like opened up your consciousness, okay? And it was sort of a destabilizing mental experience for you, and maybe you're afraid of having that same kind of experience again, even though you're not using psychotropics, it left a lasting impression on you. You have like this association. So that's coming in pretty strongly there. Yeah, look at this. This energy is really front and center. You got the blender, right after that. Okay. So there's this feeling of everything feels very kind of stirred up inside. That's what happens when the energy builds, it takes you into this place of like unwinding. There's an unwinding that happens when your kundalini is activated, there's this unwinding that happens so it can rise, and it can feel very unfamiliar, and it can be very unsettling. It blows your mind, some of you are working with Kundalini yoga and you're just kind of doing your own thing. You're not actually working with somebody who can guide you in that process. And I would really encourage you, if you are working with Kundalini yoga and you're having these destabilizing experiences and you've just been like doing videos, on YouTube or whatever, you might really want to go and actually seek out a Kundalini yoga teacher that can help you with this process, because a lot of things can wake up in your body when you're doing yoga. I mean, it can be very powerful stuff, especially Kundalini yoga. Kundalini yoga is designed to like activate that awakening process, to stir the sleeping serpent, okay? But what a lot of people don't realize is that Kundalini, when it's ready to rise, it's meant to happen spontaneously. It's not something you seek after. It's not something you try to bring on, because it's very important that the consciousness be in such a state, that there's the ability to process this kind of experience, or it can be very destabilizing. That's why often, people that get into Kundalini yoga, they work with a teacher who can help hold that container and help guide them through that process. It's powerful stuff. It really is. So some of you may be feeling a little destabilized. I'm really like picking that up. And you're concerned about this bit. Want to see top of the deck energy here. Yeah, I see you're gaining keys of knowledge that will open up doors of perception. That's what I'm getting. Good old Jim Morrison. The doors of perception, opening up these, different layers of your consciousness. And I feel like it's kind of like rocking you. Some of you may be kind of going through what feels to you like a spiritual death. Heavy stuff. I mean, we do have Pluto retrograde, right? It goes deep. It goes real deep. dive in real deep. And let me tell you, when you shed a layer of your ego, because like shedding the ego, it's like peeling the layers of an onion. You know, it's not a one-time thing, okay? It's like a lifetime thing. It's like a lifetimes thing, you know? But some of you, um, you know, may be going through this process where, you know, you're going through a death process, you know, the death of your old identity and awakening to, you know, who you're coming to be now. And it's a beautiful experience, but it doesn't feel that way when it's happening, right? You just don't understand what's happening to you. You know, you've never been in this place before. It feels very unknown, and that can make a lot of people feel not quite safe or destabilized, you know. And the energy just collectively is really intense too. So this might be a lot to take on if you're um, starting to open up on these levels where maybe you've started channeling, maybe you've started actually, you know, getting downloads and it's tripping you out a bit and you're not quite sure what to do with it. Um, I see that, you know, you're getting some real keys, you know, you're moving into a certain level of mastery, you know, and you'll go through many layers of mastery, right, on the path of alchemy. It's like also a never-ending journey. But I see quite a few keys here. Looks like you've gathered 5 keys, you know. You got 5 keys on this ring. Your odds are pretty good. One of those keys is going to open that door that light's shining down on, and it leads to your purpose with that 24 there. All right, I want to do a cut the deck energy here and see what it says. Yeah, look at this spaceship. I see you preparing for takeoff. You are definitely going to move into expansion. Some of you may feel like you're star seeds. You might be tapping into more of that intergalactic, you know, kind of vibe. Shout out to my dear friend Space Witch, you know, she's all about that. She's all about that. Um, yeah, you know, the spaceship is all about expansion. And it's not just expansion in terms of um, your circumstances in life. Like the spaceship's about going to places you've never been, having experiences you've never had before, new cast of characters coming into your life that in some way open you up to a wider view of the world. And these people that are coming in, this is like soul tribe stuff. Okay, so these are people that are going to be part of your life for a long time. They're not just breezing on through. These are your soulmates. You know, when people think of soulmates, they often only think romantically, but there's more than one type of soulmate. There's also just, you know, spiritual compadres, dear friends. See, those people that, you know, you meet them. Have you ever had this experience? Like you meet somebody and instantly there's this soul recognition. It's like, I know you. Oh my gosh. It's been so long since I've seen you. It's been such a long time. And yet it's your first time meeting them in this life. We've all had that experience, okay? This is these kind of people, you know. I'm also really picking up that in terms of your work, like the way you earn your way through the world, you're going to be doing something really different and really innovative. A lot of you are going to be doing stuff online just because it really allows you to have way more outreach, connect with a lot more people. But I do think there's this very unique, innovative approach you have to what you're doing with your online work that maybe nobody else has done before. Okay. We got 34 energy here. I see it brings you good luck. You know, that's 7 energy. 7 and 8 have been coming up. 7 and 8 seem to be like, At least it's the timeline that, the collective that watches my reads is tapping into. Sevens are all about, spiritual blessings, good luck. Luck be a lady tonight. It's that kind of energy. And eights are, that infinity energy. It's when it's as above, so below, and you're at the center point of that. And you're really able to manifest, call things into being. You become the wand, but it's about preparing the vessel, getting yourself into alignment first, so you can really be that center point of that as above, so below. You can only work with that energy when you're really clear, right? And if you're having this awakening energy, and if you're having fear around what's happening, this expansion you're experiencing, your channels getting clogged, man. And then what comes through can get distorted. So I feel like, also work with this Dhumavati energy, do smoke cleansing, do smoke cleansing, but work with some of the more kind of ancient incenses, like resins are coming through really strong. Frankincense, myrrh, copal would be beautiful. Oh, I wish I had some copal. I haven't had copal in forever. It is the most earthy, luscious, just so enveloping and sensual scent. I love copal. Okay. Cedar is nice too. Cedar is very nice, not often used. I also love bay leaf, but do some smoke cleansing. Do some smoke cleansing. Work with this energy a bit. Cleanse the channel, and work with that Dhumavati spirit. Of understanding what you're hungry for, and cleansing yourself of the hunger, with the smoke, cleansing yourself, those places where you feel impoverished, where you feel a sense of lack, cleansing yourself, the places that are afraid, to open up to the new energy, that are hungry and clinging to the way things were, to the past. Okay, cleanse it up. Smoke cleansing, it prepares the channel. But we see that though it may feel a little destabilizing, you're able to root it, and it opens the door for you. It opens your doors of perception, and you break on through to the other side, and it takes you on this wild adventure. You're going to meet a lot of new people, and they're going to be important people on your path, and you're going to do some wild stuff, man. I see a lot of like communication stuff coming forward, telecommunications, online, automatically comes into that with communications. There definitely is this kind of like high tech energy that's behind it as well. I believe it has to do with getting your messages out. How are you sharing yourself through your online sources? How are you interacting on social media? How are you using that medium? How can you use it more creatively? How can you use it in a way that kind of elevates the experience online from what is typically known as, right? Just sort of people arguing about their belief constructs, and engaging in just sort of, dramatic nonsense, right? 34, 4 o'clock when I said that. Double sevens, yeah, just kind of raising up the energy in a different way, where it can be a different experience, and it also manifests blessing, it manifests blessings in your life. There's some kind of like reward. I mean, reward that you can see on a day-to-day level. Yes, it opens up spaces inside of you. You grow from the experience. You experience a new dimension of yourself, and you get to really bring your creativity forward through this. But I also see that it rewards on a practical level. Like a lot of you are going to be moving into a very abundant place in your life. I feel like it's jackpot. Some of you out there have a real jackpot idea. You got an amazing idea. Maybe this is also part of the fear. And maybe the expansion in consciousness is around this idea that you have. Maybe it feels like, oh my gosh, like, can I really step up to this? This is a lot. I have to really, shake things up and move outside of my comfort zone. And, I feel like this saxophone fetus. I feel like I'm just such a noob here, man. Am I ready to feel like that beginner, that Zen mind, beginner's mind, Maybe you're doing something really different with music too, something that hasn't been done before. You're not sure how people will react to it. It kind of makes me think of Pharaoh Sanders' energy, Pharaoh Sanders, he's really out there, jazz musician, but hey man, if you're motivated in that way, if it's what's speaking to you, if it's the expression that your soul wants to bring forward, like go for it. We have enough random clip art out there. Like there's plenty of people who are out there, just doing the standard fucking shit. Be willing to stand out like a sore thumb. Pharaoh Sanders was. And it's funny because Pharaoh Sanders with that, that spaceship, message that came in, he was all about intergalactic, man. He went way out there. Okay, so check out some Pharaoh Sanders. I don't know. I feel like there's something about his music that's coming in. It may be a little bit of sound therapy right now. Maybe help you move into a little bit more of that sort of expansive, free flowing energy. Get a little bit out of your head. Get a little bit out of your rigidity and let this, fresh energy come in that wants to guide you forward. And, let go of the hungry places, let go of the hungry ghosts. You don't need to feed that shit anymore. And just turn that energy over to Mavati, Let her cleanse you of it with your smoke cleansing. I really encourage you all to engage in whatever way speaks to you, however you want to call that in, do smoke cleansing to cleanse you of these places where you feel lack, where you feel impoverished, where you feel hungry, where you're always thirsty, where your thirst is never quenched, where it's never enough. Feel this energy coming in, turn it over. Turn it over and watch your coffers get filled. That's what I just heard. Turn it over and watch your coffers get filled. It's kind of one of those things that, it's like the glass half empty, or is the glass half full, or is the glass always full and empty simultaneously? That's kind of how I see it, always both. It's really about how you choose to focus your awareness. It really is. It doesn't mean that suffering isn't there, hunger isn't there, thirst isn't there, feeling impoverished isn't there. And when I speak of impoverished, that doesn't just mean finances. You can feel impoverished in lots of ways, right? You can feel emotionally impoverished, right? You can feel impoverished of support, right? There's a lot of ways that energy can apply. But it's like if you only put your energy, your focus on the places where you feel like you lack, and you never acknowledge what makes you feel full, it's sort of like a self-fulfilling prophecy. Yeah, I love this, okay? Because maybe you don't really know what's going to fill you up. Maybe you don't really know what's going to satisfy you. Maybe you think you do, all right? Maybe that's a story you've told yourself. Or maybe you've bought into what your friends say will make you happy. Or maybe you've bought into what the magazines say will make you happy, or the ads on the TV say are going to satisfy you, you know? Do you really want to master this hunt? Do you want to go for the sales pitch? Do you want to go for the story that everybody's trying to sell you of what happiness looks like? You know, sometimes you think you want something really bad. You think that it's the thing that's going to quench your thirst. You think it's the thing that's going to satisfy your hunger. But you get it and you realize it's a hollow victory and you feel kind of dead inside. And you realize that the attainment wasn't what it was all about. It was just about the chase, the dream, the energy that made you feel like going after something. Can you embrace a little bit more of that spirit? You know, embrace the spirit of the dream and the adventure. I'm really picking up, Sagittarius energy with this. This is like a multi-creature body here. I mean, I pick up big Sagittarius energy. It does really remind me of Centaur energy. But at the same time, this also kind of like looks like a lion stance. So I'm picking up Leo energy here too. And then we have this like kind of stag energy as well. And that stag energy, it also really invokes Sagittarius. It's interesting, this kind of sun off to the side too, Leo as well. This may be speaking really strongly to fire signs, but in particular Sagittarius and Leo. You know, I feel like you have to understand, you know, you can't always have everything under control. That defies the laws of nature. All of nature is chaos. Everything is birthed out of chaos. And look at this chaos, mom. Look at all that nurturing she has. Breasts are all about nurturing, okay? Because the chaos, if you don't resist it, okay, when things get stirred up in your life, if you don't try to cling to things, if you don't try to fight it, if you don't try to give pushback, if instead you say, all right, let's get creative, let's see what happens, something's happening, there's a redirect going on here, you can move in harmony with this energy. It helps tap you into your more kind of like feral, wild, instinctual side where you have to get out of your head and instead you have to go by your gut. All right, where's my gut leading me? What is my next step? And yeah, and it's a little scary because anything could happen. But this is where we really move into partnership with life. We get to get creative, we get to improv, we get to play, and anything can happen. And that's where all the magic is, you know? Everything is birthed out of chaos, not out of order. This beautiful expression of human nature, creativity comes forward in this manifestation. And then what do? As stupid humans, we try to put borders around it. We try to fence it. And I just heard that song, don't fence me in, man. You know, it limits. We always want to limit what is free. Why do we do that? Why do we do that? There's something about this energy that is really coming forward this week. Yeah, on the bottom here we have a giant sperm fighting a dove, you know? Giant sperm fighting a dove. It's a really interesting message there. Yeah, you know, I think sometimes we try to tap into sort of our freak side, our wild side, you know, through sexual encounters with other people. And we forget that We actually have that energy within us, you know, we have that energy. We're going back to the Kundalini again. Okay. We have that energy within us, and it is an activating force, because when you bring the Kundalini up and you release the Kundalini through Ajna, the third eye, you can bring the immaterial into materialization. You can start to work with the very fabric of reality like it's malleable, like clay. Your thoughts can start to shift things. It's really true. There are certain siddhis, powers that are granted through the practice of yoga. But here's the trick. When you're working with different yogic techniques, the key is to not get trapped in the siddhis, to not get attached to these awakening psychic gifts that could come forward, but to instead view it as, it's just another thing, and not to chase after the experience, just to let it happen, you know, this giant sperm fighting a dove, you know, I feel like this is the key here, you know, you're moving towards this, you know, inner peace, this sort of higher view of life, where you're coming into alignment with your sense of compassion, where you're transforming that energy, where you're transforming the sexual energy, you're taking it to another level. Some of you, I feel, are actively not having sex, as in you have chosen not to have sex. Some of you may have felt like in the past you picked up some like STDs, sexually transmitted demons, from some people you were with, and you've been like cleansing out that energy. You know, you might have been doing some limpia, some spiritual baths, some purification, some cord cutting. You know, some of these energies have really been sort of disrupting your peace. But I also see that some of you are chasing this. You're chasing this feeling of, you know, ascension, enlightenment, you know, you're chasing it. And some of you are chasing it with Kundalini yoga, you know, and you're not working with it in a manner that is going to support you in that process. You know, this is the thing. When your Kundalini rises, I'm just going to get real, you know, real graphic here. Okay. This channel's not for kids. When Kundalini rises, if you get it stuck down in that root chakra, you know, sacral chakra area, the lower channels, you know, Manipura, your solar plexus chakra, if you keep that energy trapped down there, it's very pleasurable. It feels good. It feels good on a visceral level. It feels very sensual. But see, the goal is, again, those CDs, those tempting things, those hungers, right? We've been talking about hunger, and look at that. Look at that sperm. Look how hungry it is. Look at those gnashing teeth, all right? Do you think that kind of energy is going to be able to reach this place of peace and exaltation like this dove? It can't. If you want that sense of inner sovereignty, then you have to allow that energy to travel upward. Okay? You can't get stuck there. And when you start to go through a Kundalini awakening, you'll know what I mean. You'll feel it. You can choose to keep it stuck there, or you can instead. This is why you do yoga, you know. You go into meditation. Meditation is just a branch of yoga. Yoga is not just asanas, okay? It's not just getting into postures. Yoga is pranayama, breath work. Yoga is also meditation. Yoga is also Ayurveda. It's all these different tools to connect, to yoke, to come into union with divine energy. That is the purpose of all yoga and all these different practices that are outlined in the Vedas. They are all branches off the tree of yoga. Okay. So, you know, it's natural to get stuck in the base instincts. It's natural to get stuck in that place of just, oh, the instant gratification. This feels pleasurable. I'm not going to raise this energy. But this is why when you meditate, you close the eyes and you direct them upward for the third eye. There's a purpose to that. It's the vision pointing the energy where to go. You want to go here to Ajna. That's the activation point. And there's that Dr. Manhattan, energy that came through. So, whenever I think of Dr. Manhattan, I always think of that one comic strip where he says, I'm tired of this place, these people, I feel like some of you, because of all this that is stirring and awakening in you, and I think a lot of you are having these kind of like ascension symptoms, awakening of your Atman, your higher consciousness, however you choose to sort of view it. I think a lot of you are having these experiences. Yeah, but you're still stuck in this kind of like, you're stuck in this more like kind of, the base chakras is really what I'm picking up. This is the robot riding a gorilla. That's like that real rooted energy, real rooted energy. And I also got just coming through, you might want to really like, pull up, do that bandha hold, mula bandha, really like imagine that you're taking a leak and then you like stop the flow, and you kind of pull up and you bring it up into you bring in that muscle contraction into your lower belly, do that when you feel your Kundalini rise, and focus on your third eye there. And you'll help the energy move up. You don't want to get it stuck in those lower channels too long, because it actually can start to cause you some issues, Yeah, it's interesting. There is this need to raise that energy. I feel like that's what's causing the disruption, for some of you that are experiencing this. And some of you are going through this because it's coming in, okay? And it was kind of a deeper read wanting to come in. Yeah, you got to cut off those more base instincts. This is sex witch with octopus, okay? You can't cling to, you can't let the energy cling to the lower chakra channels. You have to rise it up. I know it feels good, man, okay? But this may be the time for some of you. I feel like some of you have really gone down the rabbit hole of certain practices, and I feel like you've just been kind of sampling little bits and pieces here and there from like different videos on YouTube, or maybe you just picked up random books and, oh, hey, I'm going to try this, but you're actually working with like really potent alchemical stuff here. And I think, it's getting a little wild and woolly is what I'm picking up here. All right. And you need to get some tools, work with a Kundalini yoga teacher, get connected with somebody really solid and let them help you with this. And I see that you'll be moving, into that expansion energy. Okay. Get yourself a Madame Ruffle bonnet, This really has that teacher energy, it's like that mother goose kind of energy. She'll take care of you, she'll make sure that you learn the proper pranayama, and she'll also be able to hold the proper space for you to move into that expansion in a way that feels supported, in a way that feels really safe, okay? And I said she, so I don't know, that's just how it's coming through, all right? And I'm going to just pick a charm for all of us. I got a few minutes left here before my recording time runs out. And I just want to see what charm we got coming in for us. Ooh, we got a ship. And that's really interesting because that breakup card, you know, came through. It has a ship going down. I know you couldn't see it very well, but it has a ship going down on the card. And that was associated with like being afraid that you're going to have like this mental break because you're experiencing all this like expansion. You know, you're having psychic gifts come forward. You're having new levels of awareness open up. You're expanding your consciousness and it's blowing your mind a bit. But we see your ship is just cruising just fine. In fact, your ships are going to come in. Your ships are going to come in. This expansion that you're experiencing, it's not just on a spiritual level, okay? As above, so below. It's all interconnected. Mind, body, spirit. What's happening inside of you manifests in the energy you see around you. And I see you moving into that place where you are just going to be floating on by, you know, straight away to your new horizons and the opportunities they bring. And your ships are coming in, you know, where you used to experience this feeling of, you know, the energy getting stuck, or maybe you'd run into your fear. You're going to be able to like power through that. You're going to get beyond, you know, the challenging parts of having all that subconscious stuff brought to the surface where it needs to be cleansed and purified. And you're going to get to a place where it's going to be just like steady stream of consciousness. You're going to enter that flow. So those of you who've been feeling resistance around your expansion process, 56 on the clock when I said that, 11:11, okay? It's about to start really flowing for you. But I do believe, you know, get somebody who can help guide you, somebody who can help guide you and give you the support tools you need to really embrace that process. And then practically, you know, in your day-to-day life, you're really going to see those ships coming in. I see smooth sailing. I see new waters, distant horizons, and a lot of really amazing opportunities and a whole new cast of characters coming into your life. I think the forward motion is going to start happening very soon here. Summer is just a couple days away, okay? And summer is when it all kicks off. And first, it's happening in you. You're getting a mock up so you'll be ready for this next leg of the journey. And that's what I got for you this week. I hope you enjoyed it. I know I went a little out there this time, but you know, 57. I had to follow my impulses. That's how the guides directed me, so that's what I did tonight. And thank you so much for dropping in with me. And I'll see you next week with another Weird Way read for the collective.